We are back. It is Tape Live's Favorites Podcast, Favorites Channel, Favorites Everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at Glenn Rockney for Glenn, and of course pandasubs.com. Get TDL for 35% off. So today we are, of course, doing Friday Night Live. We're live, guys. TDL gambling, going over the Raiders odds and bets here. The Raiders made us look terrible last week, Glenn. Yeah. Everything was wrong. Everything we said was wrong. I mean, I don't know if anybody really expected that. So I don't know how wrong you could really, how mad you can get at us, because I don't think anybody expected them to get their ass kicked like that. That was a pretty ugly performance, if I could say so for myself. Probably one of the ugliest Raiders performances like we've seen in a minute. I don't know how they got it. And then they got the Lions, who also got embarrassed. That's the thing about this game too, is the Lions got embarrassed last week. So now it's like, oh man, two teams got embarrassed. They're gonna want to try to prove themselves, but one is more talented than the other. So it's gonna be a tough game for the Raiders this week, but they made us look bad, man. I don't know. Your thoughts?
Oh yeah, sure. The terrible loss. I remember, it was a 10 a.m. start on the West Coast, and I had a lot of stuff to do, and I don't know. Has anybody ever like rushed to so they could get done with something and then watch a Raiders loss? It's one of the worst things. And what you're like, why didn't I just not do these tasks and have a nice Sunday and do them throughout the day? This reminded me of the Saints game last year, and then also the old. Remember the Rams? I'm talking St. Louis Edward Jones Dome shutout against the Rams, where they got their ass handed to them. It was that type of game where it was embarrassing, but also they ripped. I will say they ripped the Band-Aid off early. I was just like, oh, they're just gonna get our ass kicked today. It was kind of shocking because of the backup quarterback, Tyson Bagent, just slicing us up and running 6 yards a carry, which that part's not a shock, but just that part of it was messed up. I think the one thing that maybe I regret is doing, and perhaps you feel the same, is maybe just what did I thinking Brian Hoyer was going to be over in anything. Like everything else, I'm like, whatever. That's not. I don't care about Long and Josh Jacobs or anything, but yeah, Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer, man, he was terrible.
Yeah,
like I just like. I thought Jimmy Garoppolo was bad, but man, he gave me a lot of perspective on Jimmy Garoppolo. He did. He gave me a lot of perspective on Jimmy Garoppolo. I was like, man, maybe Jimmy might be a little bit better on his offense. I still wish they gave Aiden O'Connell a shot, a little bit more bumps out of there. Brian Hoyer was awful, man.
It's not the preseason anymore, Marcus. You have to understand it's not the preseason anymore, so we can't do things like that.
Yeah, but Brian Hoyer looked terrible for.
I know. It's ridiculous. But we got our winning quarterback. Jimmy has a winning record as a Raiders starting quarterback. That was the weirdest part about this season.
Is he 3-2? Was he 3-2 or something like that?
You got to credit him somewhat for the Patriots win, right? Like, he did start the game. I'm talking about Raiders starts. He's got 3 wins as a Raiders starter. It's crazy. It doesn't feel that way, but it's like, I don't know. Is there something to the weird Jimmy can win thing? Is there something to it? Because that's how it was with the Niners. Niner fans could never believe that he was ever winning games, but he was.
I don't know. This was he like inspire their defense. Like when he gets off the field, he revs up the defense. Goes, come on, boys, give me a stop. Like I don't understand what he does to, like, I don't know.
Look at the way
the Raiders go out there.
Look at the way the announcers talk about him. They talk about him in a sense that like we're watching Dan Marino Jr. here. It's like there's a weird crush element, I think, in a lot of this, and maybe the team has a crush on Jimmy G. Maybe he must be the coolest guy in the world. I'm just saying. Yeah,
I think it's more Troy Aikman. Just he knows that he's only in the Hall of Fame because he won.
That's true.
He didn't do anything else besides hand the ball off to Emmitt Smith and watch him run, and then make a great timely throw to Michael Irvin. So I mean, he understands like what Jimmy Garoppolo goes through, and probably the hate that he would get right now, because if Troy Aikman was playing football and just handing the ball off to Emmitt Smith and they were winning Super Bowls, he would get so much hate. Right now with his 19 touchdowns. He threw like 13 touchdowns in the season.
For sure.
And I don't want to hear about Troy Aikman. So that's why he loves Jimmy. He's a winner, just like me. Yeah. We know Troy. He's a winner, just like you. You can't win like that anymore.
You can't. You can't. Yeah. Brock Purdy's learning. You can't win like that.
Yeah, Brock Purdy's learning that real quick.
Yeah.
You're not 10-0 anymore, Brock.
No.
All right. Let's look at some of this betting from last week, man. Just how the Raiders made us look terrible. I'm just so mad at them about the game. I'm still mad at them.
You had to rewatch it a bunch of times.
I did, man. I did. Because it's like, oh, they got to ask me questions on the radio. I can't just ignore it. I gotta be prepared. It was ugly. So yeah, the Raiders definitely didn't do any of this, right?
No.
I mean, the game was under, right? No. Aiden O'Connell, he came through.
You know what the O stands for in O'Connell? Aiden over O'Connell. Aiden over Connell. That is because he came in threw a bad pick. I was like, oh no, the over's not going to hit.
Yeah.
I took it. I was like, the over's not going to hit. And then he came in. He hit the little Jakobe Myers little touchdown. Yeah. That's a huge touchdown if you're a gambler. Like that's the reason gambling can be fun when your team's bad. Is like at least there's that.
Yeah, man. I mean, when you have that and you at least get to hit the over, man. We appreciate Aiden O'Connell for the betting show, not for all the whole performance of the game, but for the betting show. We appreciate you, dog.
Hey, man,
appreciate you there. Adams, he was right under, right? I think he's right under 60. I think he had like 56 yards or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know. He had a bunch of catches in the first half, and then he just went away.
And if you had the over, that drop touchdown pass killed you. If you had the over on his yards and his anytime touchdown, it killed you. So
to be fair to Adams, I mean, that was a terrible throw. When you watched it on film, it was an awful throw. I have no idea because Adams, like, really, he wouldn't even got his feet down. If he caught the ball, wouldn't have got his feet down. So it was an awful throw, bro. Like, I don't know why he threw it off his back foot. It was just terrible to watch. It was just one of the worst quarterback performances I've seen, in a minute.
Right.
And I mean, that's on Josh McDaniels putting his ass out there. But Jakobe Myers, of course, he's Mr. Consistent. I always hit the over. Jakobe over Myers. I think we should start calling that. Anytime touchdown, Jakobe. 2. I mean, could be garbage time. Could be normal time.
Anytime.
Could be anytime touchdown, right? Yeah. For Jakobe Myers. So, I mean, that's interesting for him, man. He's always getting some kind of look in the red zone, especially from Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, he had the touchdown against the Patriots. I mean, he had the only touchdown this week. Of course, Adams was on the bench just, sulking or whatever he was doing. So it wasn't a good look there. Jakobe Myers did hit everything. He didn't hit over 70 yards, but he had a pretty good week overall. So,
Do you think I think he's probably the one guy on the Raiders that's happy the way the season's going right now. Not that he doesn't want to win, but he's probably just like, man, I'm balling. Like I got like 8 touchdowns or whatever. He's just like, hey man, I'm doing my I'm messing around. But I think it's funny. He looks like he's genuinely having a lot of fun on the Raiders when he plays. I don't know. Yeah,
I think he's doing well. I mean,
he is.
They have 2 good receivers, I mean, it's really on the quarterback to make it happen. We also have a quarterback that's consistent enough down to down, right? That's really the problem right now with the Raiders. I mean, and that's on the coach, whatever. So, I mean, let's look at some of our college lines. The college lines last week. I mean, you took Ohio State. You're the smart one. I took Penn State. I was dumb. We both took Utah, though.
I thought I took Penn State to cover too, but we definitely had the under. The under was the more confident bet in that Penn State, which was a lock that was never in question, never in jeopardy. And then Utah. I'm glad I saw that. I saw your parlay that you hit. That at least you did end up taking Utah, so that was nice.
Yeah. Miami had me worried. I took Miami. Miami had me a little worried, down 17-7, but they came through, beat Clemson. Duke, Florida State. Riley Leonard ended up playing, so I was like, that's a crazy line. Yeah. And then he like snuck in and played. They did the same thing this week. They're like, he's not going to play. I think he's going to play, and they're going to beat the line. That's just a preview of the college lines this week. But Tennessee Bama was easy, man.
Well, at first Tennessee did jump out on him. I was watching a little bit of that game. Tennessee jumped on him a little early, and I was kind of wondering, like, look, Bama typically goes down early, even in the glory Saban years when they were just easily the number 1 team. They would go down early, especially to SEC opponents. But I was kind of wondering with that Milroe quarterback, I'm like, are they going to be able to like come back down a couple scores? And they sure did.
Yeah,
they sure did.
Yeah. I think he's getting better week to week, right? So I think Bama is going to keep having a better football team just because Nick Saban is just Nick Saban. He probably has like 10 draft picks everywhere anyways. So
and get me Dallas Turner. I don't care. If the Raiders are picking somewhere and they can't get a quarterback, go get Dallas Turner. I don't care how many edge rushers we have. That guy's a beast.
yeah, man, for real.
Man, him or the UCLA guy. I'm like, both those guys, I watch them. I'm like, that is speed that the Raiders do not have right now. I'm like, man, that is, I don't know. If you can't get a quarterback, always take an edge rusher. It's like pitching in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, there's this dude, the dude from Florida State too.
Yeah, Verse. Yeah,
Verse.
Oh,
yeah, he's
monster.
nice.
Yeah,
monster.
Yeah. If they don't, I could see that this year. Like, this is just a side. I could see that this year where like if the Raiders do strike out on quarterback, I'll be mad. But everyone will be mad about like the edge rusher they draft. But if it's one of those three guys, I'll be like, nah, guys, he's tight. Like this guy, like it'll happen. Watch, I could see 12th overall or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. especially with Jimmy Winter Garoppolo over here. Just mediocre over here.
Winning too many games. Yeah,
winning too many damn games. All right, here we go. There's no quarterback props this week, so yeah, I mean, because Jimmy Garoppolo has not been announced as a starter. We probably know he's going to play, but he hasn't been announced. So there's no QB props, and anyways, you don't want to take those anyways. Who knows what these guys going to do week to week? We got Josh Jacobs. We got rush yards 65.5, receptions 3.5, receiving yards 20.5, anytime touchdowns plus 100, 2+ touchdowns plus 600 for Josh Jacobs. Now, Josh Jacobs, he's only got over 70 yards once.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing the Lions defense. I'm taking the under on rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the under on rushing yards. I'm going to take the anytime touchdown, though. I think we're going to hit a touchdown. And, of course, with Jimmy Garoppolo playing, I'm taking the over on receptions and receiving yards automatically. Like, if Jimmy Garoppolo's in the game, Josh Jacobs is getting at least 4 receptions for at least 30 yards. It's automatic if he's in the game. But the rushing yards, until this rushing offense even does any damn thing, I'm not taking the over anymore. I'm done with Josh Jacobs.
No, definitely not this week either. Aleem McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson, those guys are ballers. I mean, that's going to be scary run film for you guys to break down next week, I think, anytime touchdown, it's never a bad thing. I mean, he almost hit it if he gets his foot in bounds, he has it last week. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities for Jacobs to hit that. I would take the anytime touchdown. I'm with you on receptions and reception yards too. Jimmy or not, I mean, Brian Hoyer, I will say Jacobs had some weird, maybe the timing was off. Jacobs had some weird drops last week too. Like just like, not that like they were great passes, but it's like that it still should have been caught. Like I feel like he has pretty good hands. So that was weird. So I would continue to, if you were to bet Jacobs props, to look for him to make plays on in the passing game. I would say because those are good enough. 4 receptions, especially. I mean, I hate to say it. I think they're going to be down in this game quite a bit, and that's just kind of your 2-minute offense. Or I don't even know if McDaniels has a 2-minute offense, but if he does, I don't know. I mean, perhaps, but I can imagine some of that involves passing to a running back. So, I think he's going to go over on the receptions, under on the yards, and anytime TD. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, because the way this offense is playing, I mean, everybody knows what they're doing. I'm super interested to see how the Lions play them.
Yeah.
Because them getting exposed by the Bears really made me nervous, man. It really made me nervous for the rest of the season. If the Bears expose you and show everything that you do wrong on offense, that is not a good thing at all. So they have to try to figure that out on offense. They have to try to figure out this run game. I mean, they really have no options at this point. I feel like it's kind of just done. We're in week 8. And we're like, can they fix the run game? Obviously, they probably can't. No. So they have to try to mix in the pass game and have the pass open up the run. I mean, that's what they have to do. I mean, is Jimmy Garoppolo going to be able to execute that? Is he going to do that? Probably not. So with Jacobs, I'm taking all the overs, but if they get in the red zone, I think he might get a touchdown this week. We'll see. Hopefully they don't get absolutely destroyed. That's what I'm worried about, especially with the 10 a.m. start and how the Raiders have played with 10 a.m.
It's a Monday night game, right?
Oh yeah, it's a Monday night game. I forgot that. Okay.
They've actually been good on Monday night, so let's.
So it's different. Yeah. Okay, let me take it back. So Jimmy Garoppolo on Monday night, he's gonna shine maybe a little bit. So maybe we might get a little bit a different look there. But
who's calling the game, by the way? Marcus? Who would be calling the game on a Monday Night Football? Oh, Troy Aikman.
Troy Aikman and his love affair.
Yeah,
he loves him some Jimmy, bro. He does. He
Yeah.
does. You got to get him some quick passes. See, you can't do these long passes with him. See, no, Troy. I know you're a winner. No, we're not doing the winner thing anymore.
Troy puts on the Jimmy. Troy knows when he's got the Raiders Monday Night Football. He gets in the bathtub, lights the candles, puts on a little baby face, maybe the deal. You know what I mean? That was when he was puts on the Jimmy all 22.
Yeah.
He's not even watching the play. He's just watching number 10.
Yeah,
there.
he's watching number 10 just out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it, Jimmy. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna stop because I was with the Skip Bayless there. All right, here we go.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that I'm like 30. That's like 70% false. Let's say that much. 70%.
70%, right? 70% false there.
Yeah.
All right. Let me get Adams up here, man. So this next up, of course, Davante Adams. I mean, they raised his yards this week, 72.5. I mean, Jimmy's back, I guess. I mean, they had a feeling Jimmy Garoppolo's back with some of these receiving stuff, but they're like, we're not sure. But I feel like the anytime touchdown is a little high for Davante Adams at this point. So is the 2+ touchdowns. So is but the plus 100 yards is at a good spot. But the receiving yards is 70.2. They didn't have the receptions. I don't know why they don't have Davante Adams receptions.
It's weird.
But I don't know. This game, I'm taking the under with the yards. I am.
Yeah.
I feel like the Lions are going to try to do something to take him away. They're going to try to do something to make them throw to other people. And I don't think Adams is going to be that guy. And especially the way Garoppolo's playing. Garoppolo's not playing to force it to Adams, especially the Patriots game. You could tell like the first couple of games he was, but that game he was not going to do it. He was like, I'm not going to force it to Davante Adams. And I think he's going to stick to that mindset. And I don't know how many targets Davante is going to get going forward if Garoppolo sticks to that mindset, because he's always double teamed. So he's always double teamed, it's not going to matter. You're going to have to find a way to get him the football. And if Garoppolo's not going to do that, then he's going to throw to Jakobe Myers, or he's going to throw to Michael Mayer, or he's going to throw to whatever. I don't know if I'm going to take that over with the receiving yards, because, I mean, the last 2 games he started, right? What did he have? So he had the Packers, he had nothing. Patriots, nothing. So those are the last 2 games Jimmy Garoppolo started. So you can kind of see where Garoppolo's going, right? He's like, I'm not forcing it to Adams. So I'm taking under 100 yards. I am. Anytime touchdown, I would feel confident just because Davante Adams in the red zone and they can find any way to get him the football. It's just the 72+ yards. I don't think we're going to see like we saw in the Steelers game where he's got like 12 catches for 172. I don't know if we're going to see that again.
No, I don't think so either. I think that's what teams are going to do against the Raiders. They're going to I don't know. I don't even know if you have to game plan against their run offense right now. You kind of just things happen and you get in the backfield and you tackle Jacobs. Yeah. But with Adams, you take him out of the game. You're going to let Jakobe Myers is not going to burn you like for a crazy explosive play. He will move the chains. That's something he can do. And then, teams aren't really quite there to be worrying about Michael Mayer yet. So the teams are going to focus on him. They're going to bracket him or even just leave him on an island. Whatever they think is going to do. And I know Jimmy's not going to say, no, I have to force it to Adams, because their offense is either Adams every play, almost to a nauseating degree, or just, no, we're not throwing to him at all. So either way, I'm under on the yards. Anytime touchdown, sure, go ahead. It's Davante Adams. He can do it. But yeah, I really just anytime touchdowns, the only thing that would make me feel good about betting, and then the under on receiving yards.
Yeah, because I mean, literally, Garoppolo is kind of left that I'm going to force it to Adams type of thing. It's not going to happen anymore, So I mean, that's why you got Jakobe Myers making some plays.
Yep.
You got Michael Mayer making some plays with Garoppolo, and you got Jacobs making plays in the passing game. We're going to see a lot of that. Hopefully, Garoppolo can at least keep this offense moving, because the Lions are what the Raiders want to be. So the Lions, they play defense and they run the football and do play action, and the quarterback doesn't really turn the ball over. But you can get him to turn the ball over if you get some pressure on him. So that's going to be the interesting part of this game, if they can get pressure on the side. I don't know if they are, because, I mean, the offensive line is pretty damn good over there too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what the Raiders want to be I mean, they could actually run block too, but they could pass block and run block. The Raiders can only pass block, and we don't have at least a Jared Goff caliber quarterback, which sounds crazy, but we really don't. So
no. I mean, Jared Goff is better than Jimmy G right now. I mean, I don't think anybody will debate you on that. That's granted. Jared Goff has some bad luck against Jimmy G when he was on the Niners. Dude, does that transfer? I know it's the Niners. Jared Goff grew up a Niner fan. He gets nervous around the Niners and stuff.
Yeah,
He's from Marin, California, big time Ninerville. But I'm kind of like, something's weird. Well, when we get to the actual game prediction, something weird's gonna happen Monday night. I don't know. I don't know that we're gonna be marching to the guillotine like we think we are. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways.
You might be right about it because it's Monday night. It's not an early start game.
No, and like I could see the Lions like okay, the Lions got their ass kicked, right? They got their ass. Okay. I mean, like something that I didn't see coming, definitely because I didn't pick them last week. I picked them to cover and win, but I'm like, are they? What if they're just on a cold streak right now? What if they're like the Niners? You know, what if they are? I'm just there's a lot. That's why we love football, because football's weird.
Yeah. I will say the Raiders play a similar defense to the Ravens play. They don't have the same. They don't have the same players.
Yeah,
they don't have the same players, right? I mean, we don't have Roquan Smith and and Kyle Hamilton, freak, right?
Hey, don't gotta tell me,
right? But they play a similar scheme, so we're kind of can see how they can mix it up a little bit and see what they can do to Jared Goff. It'll be interesting, man. So next guy, of course, Jakobe Myers again. Now his receiving yards is high this week, man. Mm-hmm. Compared to the receptions, I don't know what they've been watching. I mean,
yeah,
that's a pretty good, ratio right there. But receptions 4.5, receiving yards 61.5, anytime touchdowns plus 230, plus 70, plus he's pretty far away from getting plus 70. So they don't. It's weird. So they don't think he's gonna get plus 70 yards, but the over under 61.5. What's your thoughts on this?
Oh, I'm over on receptions, but I think the best bet is anytime touchdown, 20 plus 230. I mean, that's pretty good for a guy who has a touchdown almost every game he plays in.
Yeah,
like more often than not. Like he leads the team in touchdowns. He has to, and I don't see why plus 230 you could double up real fast if you were to bet that. I mean, I'd actually like that more than the Adams anytime touchdown for sure. That's where we're at right now. I mean, it's weird. I have one fantasy league where I have Myers and Adams, and I mean, it's like, yeah, of course you play Adams because you don't want to bench him for like the huge game. But I am like, at some point, I'm gonna start Myers over Adams pretty soon. Like it's just it's like weird. I don't know. They go to him. He's just one of those guys. He's just one of those guys that quarterbacks feel comfortable. He just sits down, finds a soft spot, and he's hands or whatever, but he just seems to be the guy that they go to on this offense. And I think in the red zone, he definitely can get in the end zone. So anytime touchdown, I think is a great bet.
Yeah, anytime touchdown is a great bet for him for sure. This is a 61.5 yards. I mean, sure, like he can get some targets. I mean, the past couple of games he might have hit over that. I think he had 61 like last game, and then maybe the game before that. But it's never like 100 or 80 where you feel comfortable hitting that 61.5. The over 5 receptions, I would take that in the anytime touchdown, but everything else I'll kind of leave alone with Jakobe Myers, especially the way this game might go. They're going to try to stop him too. I think they're going to have a plan to make them throw inside. Not throw inside. I mean, more like kind of try to make them throw outside while double teaming the 2 outside guys. I think that's got to be the kind of the game plan.
Right.
And but we're going to see how this kind of works. But I still think that anytime touchdown, if they get in the red zone, they like to target him. Jimmy Garoppolo really likes to target him in the red zone. We saw it in the Patriots game. I mean, this past game he got on the touchdown. I think Myers anytime touchdown. That's a great bet right there at plus 230. I mean, you got 5 touchdowns in the season, right? 5, 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, 5 or 6 for sure.
Yeah, easy with him because he is a pretty good red zone guy. I mean,
oh yeah.
Sometimes against the better cornerbacks, like Jalen Johnson locked him up. Man, it was pretty crazy. He could not move with Jalen Johnson. But and they don't have that type of corners with the Lions. Kind of. I mean, there's some pretty decent guys. I think the Raiders outside receivers can get some separation it's gonna be more about if the offensive line can hold up, because that's gonna be super interesting. But in the red zone, I think he can have a chance to get a touchdown. It's just the over in the yards. It kind of worries me a little bit.
Right. No, I'm with you anytime. And you figure like, so that with the yards, like you said, 4.5, right? 4.5. He said 4.5 yards is his over. So he could hit the over on his receptions to get 5 receptions and say they're about 12 yards a pop. I feel like that's conservative. You'd still be under on yards. So that's why I like over on receptions, but not over on yards. I like under on yards, because I don't see him getting like 30-yard plays. I mean, maybe, but I just don't see that. Yeah.
I mean, it hasn't happened yet.
No. I think I've seen him have like a 20, like just a random like middle of the field 20-yard play, which does happen, I guess. And you never know if the Raiders are in just pure garbage time mode, which is a possibility, especially in the second half of the game. It is a possibility. If that's the case, then maybe Myers gets a few bigger plays, getting softer coverages. But I don't know. For me, I anytime touchdown, I think that's the best bet of the day so far, honestly.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, man, this game's gonna be so interesting what they do on offense, because they're gonna have to keep up. I mean, because I don't know how much this defense is gonna stay off the field with the way they play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. All right, next up, Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer, he made the bets again. He's back. Over receiving yards, 21.5, 50 plus yards, plus 425, anytime touchdown, plus 380. What are your thoughts? I really like him in this game for some reason. I feel like that Jimmy Garoppolo really went to him a lot the previous game, right? He started to look to him, started to trust him in the middle of the field. He really found his George Kittle, I believe. That's why I wonder about how many targets Adams is going to get. So I think Michael Mayer is starting to get some trust from Jimmy Garoppolo. Hopefully, somebody can hit him on one time on one of those checkdowns when he does a chip block and nobody follows him and he's wide open. Hopefully, somebody can throw the ball to him one time on one of those plays. Hasn't happened yet, but
yeah, for sure.
The over 21 yards, I'm taking that.
Yeah, no, I think that's one play. He can get that on one play. It can absolutely happen. I like the anytime touchdown. I get why anybody wouldn't want to take it. He hasn't had one yet. Yeah. It would be his first career, so I get maybe not taking somebody's first career touchdown as a bet. But you got to remember, look, maybe reading too far into this, but the Lions drafted Sam Laporta over Michael Mayer. He's going to be on the other sideline. He's going to be thinking about that. He might want to go put on a show. Look, he might put on a show and nobody will throw him the ball, but like he might want to go put on a show. And I think McDaniels can cook with him. He does. I mean, he gets him open.
Yeah.
He does get McDaniels calls plays that get Michael Mayer open. It does happen. That is a fact. But it's and I think Jimmy was that last game, that Patriots game, he was starting to kind of look for him, like you said, kind of starting to know that big 87 can win, like Jimmy's rookie year. And I remember a big number 87 in New England, my rookie year. Like, okay, this guy's starting to do the kind of similar things, right? Like, I think I can start seeing that. I like the over on the yards. I think that's a safe conservative bet, because that's 1 to 2 catches right there, I think.
Yeah, man. If Brian Hoyer didn't suck, I mean, he has a 50-yard touchdown. So
at least something, at least a 35-yard gain, like
at least a big play.
Yeah, it would have been their one of their biggest plays of the day. So
that play pissed me off, Glenn, because like that is like a Patriots play from like 2011, bro. Like, throw the ball. Like, I don't understand what the hell he was doing to that play.
Why was Mark Sanchez acting like he would have hit that throw though? Like Mark Sanchez was like, oh, he had him right in the seat. It's like, all right, settle down, Mark.
I mean, maybe he would have. I mean, because that is a normal NFL. I'm like, I don't know.
I know. It was right. I was mad. I was just laughing at that. But yeah, he was. So the rest of the year, regardless of how good or bad the Raiders are, I'm really excited about Trey Tucker and Michael Mayer. Just like those guys are under contract for the next 4 years for the Raiders. Yeah. Or 3 more years after this, guaranteed, under contract and cheap, and both look like they belong on NFL rosters as of now. Even in their rookie year, both look like they can run past. Trey looks like he can run past anybody in the league. And Michael Mayer looks like a complete tight end. I mean, he just looks like a complete tight end right now. I see him every once in a while making some good run blocks, so it's nice to see him improving that part of the game too. So for the rest of the year, I'm all in on these guys just producing and having some big plays.
Yeah, I can't wait till Michael Mayer year 3, bro.
Yeah. Even year two, they get a big quarterback next year. They get a quarterback that can extend plays and fight. When I'm extending a play, breaking the pocket, and I see a big 6'4", number 87, right there. Where else am I gonna go? Like it could be next year. It could be he could have a good second half of the year this year. I really think he's good.
Yeah, I think Michael Mayer is pretty. I think he has a chance to be special.
I agree.
Some of the things that he does. I mean, there's so many times he's wide open in the Bears game, and it's so many times he's wide open on film. Like people talk about Dalton Kincaid, right? Oh, he's wide open all the time. So is Michael Mayer.
Yeah.
Right. And there's so many things you could do with him. You could put him outside. He could beat people outside. He can move inside. Like I think if you have more of a mind that is like he's Gronk, and have more of a mind that he's like a mixture of like Mark Andrews and a guy that can block. You can mix that up and find ways to get him open, because Mark Andrews can't block. I never seen the block of Mark Andrews do anything. So he's kind of a mixture of that. If you could find a coordinator who can, mix it up with him, man, he could be damn special.
Yeah, he's just smooth. He's smooth like Mark Andrews, like the way he just seems to. It never looks that fast, but he also looks better than anybody who's covering him. So it's nice to see from a young guy, because tight end is so tough as a rookie, and he looks like he's already making progress week by week. I think this whole draft. Besides Byron Young, which he had a tough game.
He looks
the whole class looks like they get better week by week. That's what I like about that. I think Ziegler gets a lot of flack, which he should, but I think this draft class has done a really nice job just looking better every week. That's all you can ask for, right? Your rookies. You can't have your rookies save your franchise. That just means your franchise isn't good when you need rookies to save them every year. You need to let these guys be rookies, get a feel for the game, and it's like they don't look overmatched.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree 100% with that. Mm-hmm. I mean, Tyree Wilson looked pretty good last week too,
man. Hey, man, I was like, look, I just for him, I just see something. I don't know what it is. I see like I'm like this has to work. Like it has to work. It's not Cleveland Farrell who and people keep comparing him to Cleveland Farrell just because the Raiders took him high and he's a defensive end. And I'm like, no, Cleveland Farrell was a smarter player than Tyree Wilson was coming out of college. He couldn't run around anybody, and it was never going to happen. That ceiling was never there. Tyree Wilson is fast. People think he's slow. I just think he doesn't have the game. His mental, he just doesn't know how to like turn it on and just let it rip. But last game, there was a couple really nice plays that he had. Yep. And I think in the run, I think they look, for some reason, I could be wrong, they look better in the run when he's out there too. Like it just looks better. I don't know. Then Kuntz is tough. Kuntz is tough on the run. He can make a play here and there, but I like him. Nothing wrong with him. But
no, they like playing Isaac Rochelle.
Terrible. Yeah, terrible.
Mr. TikTok.
He is terrible. Yeah.
I mean, some dude on Twitter like, oh, this is trying to correct me. He's like, Isaac Rochelle did his job. Like, I don't care if he did his job. He didn't make a play.
You're not good.
He's Isaac Rochelle, bro.
You're just not good. That's the thing. Every team's going to go away from Max Crosby, so you got to have somebody who can make a play on the other side. I would rather watch Tyree Wilson be hot and cold all year. Yeah. All year. I would rather watch. Okay, because you know what? He's going to make a play where he just hits somebody like a rock'em sock'em robot and knocks him out of the thing, and then it's going to blow up on Twitter. It happens here and there. And then occasionally he's going to be wrong. Guess wrong. I don't want to see Isaac Rochelle just kind of go through the motions, play technical football, and then not make a play. That's just we said that's Raiders all the time. That's how Raiders players play all the time. I don't want
Isaac Rochelle, bro. I'm like, how many snaps? He played way too many snaps. I'm like, why is he on the field so much? With any other NFL team, with Tyree Wilson, have Isaac Rochelle on the field that much? I don't know. That would bother me a little bit about Patrick Graham. I'm like, bro, Jerry Tillery, Isaac Rochelle as your like run guys. Like, let's stop the run with these guys.
Right.
That is just not understanding your personnel.
No, Graham had a terrible game last game. There's just no way around it. I mean, the fact that you didn't I would have rather him just go full Wink Martindale and blitz Tyson Badgett every single play. Just go, you know what? You're going to have to make miraculous plays against me. But he never made that dude work at all. Never made him do anything. And then, of course, they were averaging 6 yards a pop, which I think is more of a personnel issue personally. But like you said, they're playing the wrong guys, which is not good. And like I said, play Tyree Wilson. Let's play the young guys. I think there are some really good explosive young players on this team, which is the only reason I'm not so sad about the season. Like I was way more miserable last year. This to me is bad, but it's there's some young upside that I can watch throughout the year, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Even at the linebacker, I feel like Masterson and Muaga were better than Spillane and Diablo.
I don't mind Masterson at all.
Spillane, to me,
Terrible.
He gets this like this tough guys thing,
Uh-huh.
but man, he's so soft.
I don't like him.
I
don't like him. I've seen him maybe knock a guy backwards once, which I'm like, dude,
soft.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, come on, I need to see you. If a ball gets tipped in it, you catch it. That's great. That's tougher for the Raiders to do than most teams to catch the tip ball. That's great. I'm glad you did that. But like, he's gonna be living off that all season. I saw this weird PFF like cherry pick stat where passer ratings terrible going his way. Whatever. Teams run right at him and it doesn't matter. Like he's
just soft, man.
Yeah.
Well, the Milwaukee guy, he like knocked a couple guys off their asses a couple times, right? Like that's what you're a linebacker. Masterson gets contact. Spillane's like, don't hit me.
Yeah, go. Let's put the young explosive guys out there. If they make a mistake, they make
you're
a mistake.
Linebacker, bro.
Yeah, we're watching veterans make mistakes and get knocked backwards. That's the worst thing in the world is when you got a team of veterans that are getting knocked backwards. Put the young, explosive, talented guys out there and let them learn how to play the game this year.
Like, I don't understand how you're a linebacker and you're soft.
Like, right.
Change positions.
Right.
I don't know what you need to play. Maybe you can't play the NFL. If you're playing linebacker and you are like can't like go pop somebody, you're like waiting for somebody to come. Yeah, nah.
No, he's just constantly like he tackles like a free safety. It's weird. It's like he's just like dragging guy Michael Huff style, just dragging people down. You know, it's like, come on, man.
Bro, it's sick. Somebody said he gets love for the Derrick Henry tackle. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that kind of stuff.
And I think he popped somebody against the Broncos one time earlier this year. He popped somebody goal line, and I think everybody's been living off that for a while. And it's not there. It's not there. Yeah,
I'm tired of watching him get dragged.
Nope.
Anyways, all right. So we got Raiders at Lions. Okay, Raiders are not 10 o'clock game. I had the wrong on that earlier. It's a Monday night game. I got to remember that they're playing on Monday night, 5:20. So it might be a late game for them a little bit. Some of these West Coast guys. The Raiders. I mean, this line was, I think it was -5 on Sunday. It is now -8, and that's with Jimmy Garoppolo playing. So it's interesting how what it was. When it was up in the air, but the more like Jimmy Garoppolo came out, the higher the line went.
Yeah,
that is super weird. And the point total is high too. I think that point total is super high, man.
It is. Yeah,
high point total.
I fear a Lions cover and the under hitting because that means that's a bad Raider game if that happens. If the Lions cover and there's not more than 46 points, that is a really, really unwatchable Raider game. If that happens, I fear that could be the case. I would, as a bettor myself, I would abstain from betting on these totals at all. These outright win. I would do more player props in this game, as we mentioned, because I also still feel like there's going to be a weird like situation where the Raiders are leading like 10-0. Like just a weird, not saying they win the game. I just mean they might be like leading 10-0, which throws off that -8 cover. And they're just like, maybe the Lions are in a weird spot right now where like overall they are a contender, but they're in like a week 7, week 8 kind of lull, which a lot of good teams do. It happens a lot. And I don't know. This could be weird. Maybe Jared Goff is turning back into a pumpkin a little bit. Maybe he's just going to become regular old Jared Goff again, and maybe the Raiders have a chance. I'm not going to predict that, but Monday night games, the Raiders do tend to not embarrass us as much on Monday night. I feel like.
Yeah, they don't embarrass us as much on national TV as they used to.
Yeah,
and I will comment on what you're saying about McDaniels because I feel like McDaniels. What he really does is he rises to his competition.
Right.
It's like the Niners game last year. He came up with like the most awesome plays that he's come up with, the concepts. He's running these bootlegs. He never ran with Darren Waller.
Right.
He's mixing it all up. And I think we might see that a little bit this week. Like, it's like they overlooked the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we don't have to game plan for the Bears. We're game planning for the Lions. The Bears are whatever. We're going to go past the Bears and then we get beat 30-12 on the road. But this game, they're going to be prepared. He's gonna have all these concepts, and you're right. Like they might the first drive, right? The first 15, because McDaniels is a great first 15 guy. I'll give him that. So they'll go down, score a touchdown, maybe, and then the next time go down and get a field goal is 10-0.
Yeah. No, and I will say too, last week in the NFL was weird. It was a weird week in the NFL. You had that weird Cleveland Indy game, which I didn't see that being almost 90 combined points. I didn't see that coming. And then you had the Niners losing to the Vikings. You had what was the other big one? The Patriots, after looking terrible, beat the Bills. It was a very odd week where and the Raiders were favorites over the Bears, and they lost. And I think sometimes you just have those like weeks from hell for favorites. And we hope that's the case this week because Detroit's favorite. But I don't think that was the Raider team. I don't like they got exposed, but I think they just came out really flat in the same way they came out flat against the Saints last year, where we're like, okay, I don't think we're a great team, but we're not this bad. Like I don't think we're just overmatched completely bad this way. Now it is the Lions and they're very good, but I don't think they're going to come out as flat as they did against Chicago.
Yeah, to be honest, I kind of feel like the Lions might cover.
Yeah,
I feel like even if they start 10-0,
I
don't know if it finishes that way, right? And I don't know if the mistake. Garoppolo has one interception in him. We don't know how it's going to happen.
Oh yeah, it's happening.
It could be a tip in the air. It could be him throwing it. It could be some guy dropping a football. Garoppolo has at least one interception.
Oh yeah,
in him, right? So that turnover might cause something with the Raiders. So I kind of feel like the Lions might cover this game just because, even with how Josh McDaniels prepares, I don't know how much he is adjusting right now by himself. I don't see him really doing that. I feel like he's really struggling there altogether, even Patrick Graham, because I was still mad at Patrick Graham that he, in the fourth quarter, he still had Jerry Tillery and Isaac Rochelle out there. I'm like, it is not working. So what are we doing? If it's not working, my dude, maybe put Tyree Wilson out there. Maybe try that. Even if you tried Malcolm Kuntz, I would have felt better.
Yeah, no, exactly, and just that no fan wants to see that because, like I said, what's the ceiling with Jerry Tillery? What are you watching for Jerry Tillery to do? What are you watching for Isaac Rochelle? Like, what is the upside we're chasing with them? It's not much. You're chasing. It's just this solid veteran that knows what he's doing every play. Like that's fine. Whatever, he's in the right gap. Okay, their teams don't seem to care when they'll run right at him that he's in the right place. Like I said, Tyree Wilson has potential to blow up a few plays to kind of man. I see some quarterbacks when Tyree Wilson get wins against a tackle. I see some quarterbacks go, damn, like they run at him and they kind of like run away from the pocket really fast. They go, whoa, yeah. Like it's kind of like I think he's getting there, and I want to see him play 60 to 65% of the snaps at the end this week. I think hopefully the foot. We never know with the foot. Maybe it's a foot thing, but we need to see more.
Yeah, too much Isaac Rochelle. I mean,
yeah, exactly. It's not like
no NFL team would pay Isaac Rochelle this much.
Yeah. It's not like you have a baller. It's not like, oh man, we got this baller. Like I know it's supposed to be Chandler Jones. I have a feeling Chandler Jones wouldn't have had a good year either. I honestly I just feel like people were thinking he was going to be really good this year. He is better than those guys, but even if Chandler Jones was in his right mind, I think we're still wanting more Tyree Wilson one way or another.
I mean, his dog is Larry Fitzgerald, bro. So
yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah, that was no, we all know it. It's yeah.
All right. Anyways, NFL football. Here we got some games up here. I mean, it's not a lot of good games this week. There really wasn't. I mean, I was trying my hardest to find some. So Bengals at 49ers, Jags at Steelers, Jets at Giants, Browns at Seahawks. Now, I think the Seahawks are really highly favored in this game. And by a lot, by way too much, in my opinion. Because Myles Garrett, he's like carrying the Browns by his damn self this year. He's just playing out of his damn mind. I think Trevor Lawrence lost the game for the Jags this week by saying little terrible towel. So
yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah.
So I'm really taking the Steelers on that one. The Bengals at 49ers. Okay, now this was interesting. I want to hear your thoughts on this one too. because Joe Burrow, he had a good week against Cardinals. He had a good start against Seahawks, and then they kind of went back to normal. How they looked the rest of the year. They're playing a Niners defense that's pissed they got picked apart by Kirk Cousins. I heard Fred Warner on his podcast. He's pissed about it. But Sam Darnold's probably going to play. And Sam Darnold has at least 2 interceptions in him. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what throw he makes. He's got 2 picks in him, right? Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the Bengals might cover that one at least. And Jets and Giants, I'm going. I think the Jets are going to dominate them a little bit. But what do you think about these games?
Well, I guess I'll go kind of start it with the in the top left here. The Jaguars and Steelers, I'm with you. I take Steelers money line in there. Usually inside 3 points. If I like the underdog, I take them outright. Usually, I mean, I think if they're spotting you a field goal, that means hey, take what they're giving you, take the +3. But inside there, I like Steelers money line. I love Mike Tomlin and I love what he's doing this year because their team is still not quite that good, though they do look a little bit better. They're figuring out their run game a little bit. But like they realize like, okay, we might not be that good, but anytime you play us, no matter what team you are, you will not look good against us. Like against the Rams last week, he's like, if we're going to play ugly, you're playing ugly too against the Rams. That's exactly what they did. So I think Trevor Lawrence is due for like the Jaguars are due for like just a stinker. Like just a bad game. It can happen. It happened against the Texans earlier this year too. I think they're a good team. They're actually a legit contender this year too. But I think their defense isn't as good as people are saying it is. I think it's I don't know. I don't think it's as good as people say. So I think Pittsburgh wins outright in that game. Browns Seahawks is interesting. I would take Cleveland to cover. It is at Seattle. They are good there, but I don't know. The Geno and their offensive line aren't really sparking joy for me this year. Watching Geno's regressing a little bit, I think. DK seems like he's please eat a square meal like once a day and stop eating candy all day. It's coming out in your play. Like you're getting mad at throwing tantrums and pushing corners and not playing hard every play. Like if that dude, like people are like, wow, it's so cool that he eats candy and he's a really good wide receiver. It's like, yeah, he could be like Jerry Rice if he ate like healthy. You know what I mean?
Candy.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Like it's just like, what is it with the Seattle people? They just have to eat candy.
That's like LeBron with Sprite. Like LeBron would drink all the Sprite and get cramps. I was like, maybe stop drinking Sprite, my dude. You wouldn't get cramps.
It's like you could pretend you could. You know what? Here's the thing, LeBron. You just put a different drink in the Sprite bottle and everybody's happy. And then, but exactly like so. What I mean was like DK, like eat the turkey sandwich, you'll be fine. But I'm with you. Myles Garrett is probably other than Max Crosby, I think he's the best defensive player in the league right now. It's insane how good he is. Like Cleveland to cover that. Bengals Niners. I can't find out if Trent Williams is playing because that's also a huge thing with them. Like their offensive line is terrible without Trent Williams. Like that is a huge reason, along with the Brock Purdy regression. And if it's Sam Darnold, by the way, they keep saying Brock Purdy had a concussion. I thought Kyle Shanahan just like punched him in the head or something after the game. Like he was just like, oh, now he's in protocol. Like I don't know. It seemed kind of weird. It was like when Jimmy went into protocol a couple weeks ago. Like it was just random. But so yeah, I cannot believe the Niners are favored by 5 though. I would take the +5. It's at Santa Clara. It's at Santa Clara, so they are really good there. So I would take the 5 points on that with Cleveland +5, and then Jets and Giants battle in New York. Raiders play both of these teams pretty soon. It's weird, man. If Tyrod was playing, I would almost pick the Giants. It's weird. I don't know what it is about Tyrod and PJ Walker, man. Like it's just like those guys are like this year they're kind of doing better than the starter. I don't know what it is. Like they don't look better, but the team plays better. I think guys play harder for those guys. And but I am going with the Jets. I mean, it's a home game for both teams, but yeah, it's So I am taking the Jets, but if we see Tyrod at any point in that game, I wouldn't be happy with my bet. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, man. I feel like Zach Wilson's he's getting into his game manager mode. He hasn't played bad the last 3 weeks, man. They've been winning.
No, since the Chiefs game, he's played quite well. I think like just he's a big arm guy that can run. and make some plays. And then as a backup, a guy who already knows your system, knows everybody on the team and everything, it is that when they kept saying go make a big trade, I was kind of like, well, not really, because you're gonna have to install. You have to like install with a new quarterback. I remember when the Raiders traded for Palmer, it was really ugly at first, like really ugly, and like it takes a while, even if the quarterback's good. Zach Wilson is a very high quality backup for the rest of his career, I think.
Yeah, exactly. At least, and maybe he gets more confident. He starts playing better. Throughout the season.
You're right. No, he's young and he's got. I wasn't a big fan of his coming out, but I mean the
Yeah.
tools are there. There's a reason he went too. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So let's get to the college lines here. All right, here we go. I tried to find the best college games I could find.
Some bad games. It
was weak as hell, right?
Yeah, it was bad.
So we got Oregon at Utah, Tennessee at Kentucky, Colorado at UCLA, and Duke at Louisville. Now, Oregon at Utah is probably the game of the week. With number 8 Oregon at number 13 Utah. Now, the Utes just beat USC, which that was an easy one. But the Ducks are still -5. I don't know why I didn't change that. Don't just ignore that, guys. But the point total is fine. And then Ducks probably, I don't know. I feel like Oregon's gonna win that game. I think Washington is a really good football team. They got a really good offense. I think the Ducks are gonna beat Utah, especially at Utah. I don't think Utah is good enough on offense to stop them. Right? Enough. USC is Caleb Williams doing whatever and freelancing, but Oregon at Utah, I really like that one. I really like Oregon in that one. Colorado, I want Colorado to cover. I don't know if they'll win that game, but they'll cover. I think they'll cover that 15.5. I think so. I think so. I haven't watched UCLA. I don't know. Maybe you know more about UCLA than me.
They're pretty good, man. They're pretty good.
Are they? I don't know.
They have a tough defense. Like I said, they got that. I don't know. He's like, I think it's, I can't say his last name, but he's like a Samoan cat, defensive end. He's going to be playing on Sundays next year, possibly on day one, and he looks legit. But I'm with you on Utah, on the Utah Oregon game. I like Oregon laying 5. I take the Ducks. I think until Utah gets Cam Rising, they're going to run into like kind of a power issue with some of these teams that are a lot more well-rounded than USC. That aren't just hero ball teams like that. Utah's good against those hero ball opportunistic teams, but I think Oregon could just pick them apart and pretty much match their physicality to a degree. And I like them. It is at Utah though. Utah's a weird place to play, man. It is a weird place to play. They get active there, man. That is crazy. It's like Buffalo Bills fan base. They are crazy out there. Like they got nothing else out there. I don't even think they like the Jazz. And but I will say, I like UCLA covering. UCLA made a quarterback change to a guy that looks a lot better too, and they got this running back, this big white dude that just mows people over. It's crazy, and Colorado's just is not physical yet. They're just not a physical football team. And I think UCLA is going to roll them.
Okay, yeah, because I haven't seen UCLA play. I mean, just because you're talking about their defense, I mean that point total 61.
Yeah, I actually like the under in that. I don't think Colorado's going to score like that, but we'll see. Because Colorado's, I remember when they started playing like Arizona State, like the point totals stabilized a little
started
bit.
getting down, right? Yeah, offense. I mean, they're basically all Shedeur Sanders.
It's all Shedeur Sanders.
So Duke and Louisville is interesting too because this is really all based off if Riley Leonard plays.
Yeah,
because I know they cover versus Florida State, but Florida State still won that game, right? Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, they still won that game. They covered. So I know Louisville is surprising, but I don't know how much better they are with Duke with Riley Leonard playing. Riley, this money line and the spread keeps rising because it's iffy. But if he played last week, he probably plays this week, right?
You would think. I like Louisville's home environment is crazy. When Notre Dame went there and lost and really tanked their season there, that home environment was insane. It was like, wow, this looks like really crazy. It was like a primetime game, and they were showing out. They definitely have some legit talent. I think is it Jeff Brom, their coach? He's a good coach, and if Riley Leonard plays, I don't know if I like I don't know if I like Louisville -6, but man, it's that I would just take the home team, I guess, I guess I would take it, but if Riley Leonard plays, that's why I wouldn't touch it for now. Point total, I would say over. I think both teams are going to score in that game.
Yeah.
And Tennessee and Kentucky, I kind of like Kentucky.
Me too. At
Kentucky
home
is
too.
they run the football. They can. I mean, and Tennessee is not physical on defense. That Kentucky run game is crazy. I mean, and at Kentucky, I like a home dog. I'd even get spicy and take the money line.
Yeah, I'm thinking about taking that money line.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I don't trust Tennessee at all. And
no, Joe Milton, man, it's like I want to like him, but it's like his footwork looks horrible. I'm not even like a quarterback guy like that, but his foot, it's just like, man, just get if you get those feet, there's something there if you can work on those feet, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. All right, Glenn. We didn't get too interactive this week, man.
There's a couple questions I saw in there.
Do you have any questions here? I saw a Will. Oh, here we go. The Will Levis question. Which, how do you think Will Levis will look? So Will Levis is getting a start this week.
Yeah, hopefully good. I liked him coming out of college. I mean, it doesn't sound like he was. I don't think Malik Willis is good at all. So I mean, I don't, and neither does Tennessee. Now I don't think they think he's good anymore. But I hope Will Levis goes out and plays well. I was kind of, I remember when Will Levis was sliding, I was like, Raiders second round. Let's take a look. And look, I'm happy we have Michael Mayer, but I did like him. Apparently, he was more of a project than I thought. But look, Tannehill has having maybe his worst career season this year. Malik Willis has looked horrible. He gets sacked all the time. He has no idea how to even break the pocket, which is what everyone thought he'd be good at. I hopefully good. I think he might have a couple splash plays, a couple frustrating plays. I could see.
Yeah, to me, with Will Levis, it's interesting to see how much he is like prepared and how he gets into the game, because that was like his whole thing, and he kind of fell off. Like the people don't like his personality, right?
Yeah, he's a weirdo.
So if he has that personality that he's working, I think you could build an offense around him, and you can kind of protect him because he's a big arm. So I mean, he can still stretch the field. So however you want to, you could run those deep corner routes. You could run those deep at whatever, deep outs, 15-yard outs, because he can stretch the field still because he has the arm. You can mix it up with him, I think, enough where you can hide him if he is structured and he doesn't make stupid decisions. Yeah. So that's kind of the basis. Is he going to go out there and make dumbass decisions and throw picks and not really see what he's seeing? If he can see and be prepared and be ready to make his reads or whatever, and kind of just make that read, get rid of the football, whatever, he can still stretch the field enough that just like Tyson Bagent looked last week, because the way the Bears mix it up, that dude has a big ass arm, and they didn't try to use it too much, but they kept the game plan around where he can get out of the pocket and use that arm, and he made some plays that I was kind of surprised a little bit. I was like, man, is this guy good?
Yeah, and with Levis, I mean, you're going in. You have Hopkins as your one. Hopkins still very good. And then I don't know how to pronounce their tight end's last name, but I kind of like him a little bit too. That Tajay Spears guy is crazy. Like if you ever watch him play, that little scat running back, that change of pace, who might eventually become the lead back. Sounds like Henry might go to the Ravens, which would be psycho if that happens. But that sounds like he's either going to Dallas or Baltimore, and I don't see why Tennessee would keep him, to be honest. But I kind of like what Tennessee has on offense. They just had they have quarterbacks that were turning the ball over and taking horrible sacks. That was how they were losing a lot of these games. And if Levis, it's going to be tough his first start. A lot of quarterbacks don't have the pocket presence right away, but if he can hit a couple big plays, which I think he can, I think he has that type of arm and those type of legs.
Yeah, we'll see, man. The Raiders don't have a quarterback right now, so I'm gonna be mad at any young quarterback that looks good.
I know, and that's the problem. And look, this year coming up, I know people want Drake May. I do too. I love Drake May, but there is. I do think they want one this year. It's clear that they want one. It's clear that they want a young quarterback. I think they tried to get one last year, which it was kind of a weird year. Like I said, I mean, you had teams trading up to 2, 3 for Will Anderson. It was a very strange trade year in the draft. I don't hate that they lost out last year. I think next year, trade the farm, go get your guy, and I think they will.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, we'll get out of here.
Sounds good.
Not too interactive today, but it's fine. We're good.
Raider fans are sad, man. That was a sad.
Yeah, game. I know. It's terrible. It was
a sad game. Yeah, it was a sad game.
So hopefully we get some more hope this week, man.
Monday night magic, man. I'm telling you, it's a weird Monday night is weird with this team.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, guys. So hold on. What would you? Oh, we got one last question. What would you give the Raiders for Renfro?
Like trade value.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be like a conditional 6th round pick. I think is what that. No, it's a sad. People don't understand. I'm glad actually this question got asked. People don't understand.
Okay.
Every single time a player gets traded and it's like for not a 1st round pick and it's a good player, people always go, "Wow, it's like stealing." And it is for the team that's good. That's your privilege as a good team, is that you get to just grab a good player for nothing mid-season. It's a salary dump for the other team. That's what it is. You're asking this other team to take the salary off your hands because you're not using this guy, or it's not going to be good, or they're just not it's not fitting with the team. It's going to just be like some conditional 5th, conditional 6th kind of thing, and whatever. Fans are going to be mad, but it's like they're not using him. They're not using him this year. So and he's on a big contract. Now, the guys that garner good trade value are guys on rookie contracts usually.
Yeah.
Like that's why you see Montez Sweat and Chase Young being dangled out there for 2nd and 3rd round picks. Hunter Renfro's on a big contract right now. Or biggish contract, I should say.
Bigger.
He's not on his 5th round rookie deal. If he was traded 2 years ago, yeah, absolutely. He would probably get like a third, 2nd round pick, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if they would traded him when they didn't realize they didn't like him. I don't know why they paid him.
Those extensions last year are the weirdest things I've
ridiculous.
Ever seen. Yeah,
they're weird as hell. They extended Carr, Waller, and Renfro for
all
what?
About to be gone. They're all about to be gone.
For what? You know what I mean? Like
I've never seen
biggest waste of money.
Never seen that in my life. I've never seen a team do that before. Yeah, and no, they're not going to cut him. Somebody will grab him for like a 6th round pick, I think.
Oh my god, it was stupid as hell. So we got another question. Finally get some questions. If we get blown out, is McDaniels gone?
I mean, I hope so, but I don't know. I don't think Mark wants to get rid of him in the middle of the season. I don't think he does. It's gonna have to be embarrassing, which it could be
40-3, right? Like a 40.
Yeah, like just or even as bad as last week, and they just can't do anything right. Yeah, maybe, but I don't think Mark wants to do that, and I get it. It's like whatever. If you're that bad, you think the season's done, and maybe you do it to keep players invested. Like if players have quit on him, if you find out players have quit on him, like truly quit on him, not just what we see on the field, but truly quit on him, yeah, you get rid of him, because you don't want Davante Adams to ask for a trade next year. He might, but you don't want that. And exactly. And you don't want Max Crosby to finally buff out the Raider tattoo. You know what I mean? You don't want that. Like, I'm not saying he will. I love Max. He seems to be a committed Raider, but he doesn't want to waste his prime years. That dude is clearly out for something more than just a big contract in the NFL. He is clearly out for greatness. And if we cannot provide him the opportunity to be great on a huge stage in playoff games, he will ask for a trade. So you will want to get rid of that coach if the team appears to have quit on him. And we don't know if they have. We're not in there. It's tough. We can speculate. I think they might, but you have to be. Mark will know that. Mark Davis will know if they actually quit on him, because players will come to him.
Yeah. And see, because if they really get blown out this game, then we're going to kind of have that feeling if they quit. The other side of this, let's just say this. Okay, so they lose this game, they get blown out. Maybe Mark Davis thinks, okay, if I fire this guy and maybe I get somebody else that's on the staff that has control over them to bring a spark, right? And maybe they can turn the season around, because they'll only be 3-5. Right. Obviously, if they get blown out this game and they go 3-5, I mean, McDaniels he's gonna lose the locker room, because he's an asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't take accountability, right? And all those things, the players see this shit. So we know the players see this. So if the players see this and he's not taking accountability, he is an asshole. He's a little bit of a narcissist kind of mentality when it comes to taking criticism, right? Especially this last press conference where I said this isn't preseason. Like, dog, you chose Brian Hoyer. Come on, dog. We watched miss all those passes, and you shitted on Aiden O'Connell hardcore. So if those type of things keep happening and they get blown out this week, yeah, he's gonna lose the locker room, because they're gonna be like, you're an asshole. Like, why should I listen to you? I'm not gonna listen to you anymore. Like,
no, fully. The minute that happens, you gotta get rid of him, because you're these, Mark, Mark knows who got the checks. Davante Adams got the big contract and the picks invested in him. That is the goal this year. Is are Davante Adams and Max Crosby going to be happy staying with this team? That if you're not good, I mean, look, maybe they come out and they beat the Lions, and then we're all like, oh, we're back.
Yeah,
Maybe that
exactly.
happens. That's the weird part about this team is that they are just a win against a good team away from us being like, oh, we're back. It's fine. But so that is also it's a 3-4 team, and we're talking about them like they're 0-7. That's the crazy part, because they easily could have been. But there is kind of this thing where you gotta gauge the way you find your star players. Are your star players happy? Jacobs unfortunately is not one of those guys, but they're going to have to do that. I don't know who on the staff, like, unless he sees somebody on the staff that is going to be this crazy interim head coach that gets them like Rich Bisaccia level playoffs. I don't know if I see that on the staff this year. You never hear any players talking about their position coaches hella crazy, and you don't.
That is very true.
Kennedy Polamalu, like, is there going to be a Kennedy Polamalu, the running backs coach, electric head coach? He's going to be amazing. Like, no, Bisaccia, we knew for a fact Bisaccia was going to be the guy the minute Gruden got fired because of the way these guys talked about him.
Yeah.
So I don't see that on the staff right now. So they might just keep him. And if the Raiders just are 6-11 again, see you later. And I think they're going to go hard after Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh, maybe. I don't know about Jim, but
I don't either. I just think I don't think Mark's ever going to do the young guy thing that we all want him to do, and I think he's just going to be like Harbaugh. That's my guy. Which I don't think he's a bad call. I actually think he's run a successful franchise. He brings physicality to a team, but he's also another hard-headed asshole.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a hard-headed asshole. I mean, he's more of a loving asshole, though.
Yeah. No, and he'll get out there and he'll run with you. He'll run with you on the field. He's crazy. He's crazy, which is fine. We need a little crazy. Like that. That's fine. I wouldn't hate it, but I wouldn't. I think there's a lot of fans that have this idea that Harbaugh is this amazing NFL coach. I
just want to know who his coordinator is. If he brings Greg Roman over here,
you can't.
I'd be like, no, you get fired, because that's kind of because the Minnesota interview that he had always worries me, because he kind of went in there like he was going to get hired and he had like no plan. Like, what is your plan, bro? Like, what is your offense going to be, Jim? Like, what are you doing? Like, you got to play. You just can't motivate people up here.
And JJ McCarthy would be our next quarterback, who I'm a little not huge on. So yeah, I could. Whatever. We're speaking in all these hypotheticals. All I'm saying is he might. If players quit on McDaniels, you got to fire him the minute that happens. That's all.
We got some questions. Let's get 2 more questions here, because we got
all right, cool.
So we got: would you keep Ziegler? And if the Raiders fire McDaniels, do you think this will be his final head coach opportunity? So this question, yes. Hell yes.
Yeah. No, he's never getting another one again. And he won't even. He's not even a guy who can even translate to college. That's the funny part. Like, he couldn't even go coach a college team, because that's even worse. I don't think he could recruit anybody. Nobody's parents would ever like that guy. None of that stuff. Like, they'd be like, no, bro, you cannot sit at my table. No, like, he has no swag. He has no swag whatsoever. And just nothing. Like, there's just nothing about that guy that radiates any kind of confidence, other than I coached Tom Brady and I made up this Greek myth that I made him into some amazing thing, and I'm coasting off that for the rest of my life. Ziegler, I like Ziegler more than most people, but like I said, those extensions were really bad. I understand if they wanted to just clean out. If you fire McDaniels, whatever, just get rid of him too. It's fine. It's not. I wouldn't be like, no, don't. I wouldn't be that crazy. I liked his draft this year. I'll die on that hill.
Yeah, I don't mind Ziegler too much.
Mm-hmm.
I think McDaniels has a lot more say in some of the things that they try to make sense of or whatever. It's just, if they keep Dave Ziegler, right, and they fire McDaniels, who does he hire? He's going to hire a Patriots guy.
Yeah, exactly. You want to realize that the Patriot thing didn't work, so that's why
he's hiring Brian Flores. Yeah. I'm going to let you guys know, if we keep Dave Ziegler, he's hiring Brian Flores, just because how the Vikings defense is playing, what they're doing on defense. Brian Flores is raising his stock.
I don't hate that.
Dave Ziegler, they're hiring Brian Flores. My whole thing with Brian Flores is he just hates quarterbacks. So, like, I need you to get. Hopefully, he got past that, and he learned to understand that a quarterback needs a little bit of butter. You got to butter him up a little bit. You can't ruin his confidence. You're not going to win, if you just tell the quarterback like he's a defensive end. No, that's not going to happen.
I would rather have a head coach that hates quarterbacks than somebody who thinks they made one. The greatest one of all time. I'll tell you that much right now. I would rather have a guy, because at the end of the day, you still have Ziegler, and I think Ziegler will want to go get a quarterback regardless. Brian, sorry, screw you. Go make Tyree Wilson and Max Crosby the best defensive end combo in the league. You go do that. We'll send your blitzes, do all that stuff. Cool. It's fine.
That's what I'm saying. Like, who would he get an OC? Bill O'Brien. See, because my thing is Tom Brady's here too, and Tom Brady might recommend, because Tom Brady loves Bill O'Brien.
He does.
I don't think people understand how much Tom Brady loves Bill O'Brien.
I don't hate Bill O'Brien though.
I don't. I mean, Bill O'Brien actually is the only Patriots guy who actually has won in the NFL.
I thought he was a good
Tom
coach.
Brady might recommend him to Mark Davis.
Yeah, no, I thought he was a good coach, bad GM for the Texans, so he wouldn't be the GM if he comes here. I thought the Texans were in the playoffs every year when he was the head coach. Like, and Deshaun Watson hasn't looked good since Bill O'Brien was his coach.
Yeah, he changed his whole offense to fit Deshaun Watson.
And he seemed cool. I remember when he was on Hard Knocks, he seemed like a really nice guy and cool guy, like fun, kind of little shit.
He has great
talker.
clinics too. You watch his clinics, he has great clinics.
Look. You just talked me into Brian Flores and Dave Ziegler and Bill O'Brien. I wouldn't be excited, but you bring in a young quarterback there? Yeah.
Because literally Tom Brady might, because that's so every time I see Tom Brady next to Mark Davis, I'm like, don't talk him to Bill O'Brien, please. Because he's going to ask. I mean, he's like, Bill O'Brien, he's a leader, man. I really like Bill O'Brien. So
I'd go, all right, Tom, are you playing then? All right.
Are you gonna go play, Tom?
Shut up. Yeah. You picking your coach set for you, or are you picking it for some guy that we don't know who's the quarterback yet? All right, wonderful. Thanks, Tom. Thanks for your input. You enjoy your 4% stake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, man.
All right, man. All right, guys. We're out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like I said, we'll be here every Friday. We'll be here next week. Hopefully the Raiders give us a little bit more that we can get excited about. Maybe they just make the game close. I think just making the game close, I think.
Yeah. Just don't embarrass. No, nothing embarrassing. Yeah. You lose to the Lions, you lose to the Lions, but just nothing embarrassing.
You lose to the Bears. Like, nobody cares anymore. We're done. We're like, do some draft stuff. Where's the draft stuff, guys? Do some draft gambling.
Oh, 100%. Right. Hell yeah, guys. Let's go. Go Raiders.
All right, guys. We're out of here. Peace.